something great happens to man. This is yoga. In the Kathopanishad, Yama tells Nachiketa this same idea. Yada panchavadishtante jnanani manasasaha buddhischana vicheshtate tamahu paramam gatim tam yogamiti manyante. When the five sense organs along with the manas or mind are tranquilized, even the intellect or buddhi does not flicker, that is considered to be the highest state. That is called yoga. In that yoga, you realize your own true nature. The same idea is expressed in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras also. The mind exists in two states, in the scattered state, in the gathered state. When you gather the mind, what happens to you? You realize your own true nature as ever free. Tada drashtu sarupe avasthanam. In that state, the seer is established in his own true state. In all other states, he gets scattered and mixed up with everything else around him. So man must realize this state of his true being. Then when he enters into work, he is able to hold himself free. That kind of a disciplined work becomes possible, a work by which he will not be bound thereafter. That's why this inward penetration is necessary. From that point of view, when you work, work becomes your redemption. It is through this practice and discipline of Shama and Dhamma that man proclaims his freedom, his spiritual freedom, that he is able to discipline the energy resources within himself so as to create something better out of it. That is what we do with raw material. We take, process it and produce gold or iron or steel. Similarly, in character, we take all these experiences and process them. That independence is expressed in this discipline of Shama and Dhamma. Therefore, he defines yoga as samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Other definition comes later, but this is the preliminary definition. Samatvam yoga uchyate. After defining yoga initially as samatvam, equanimity, evenness, Krishna continues in verse 49, Durena hyavaram karma buddhiyoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvicha kripana phalahetavaha. Work done with desire for fruits is verily far inferior to that performed with the mind undisturbed by thoughts of results. O Arjuna, O Dhananjaya, seek refuge in this evenness of mind. Wretched are they who act for results, for personal results. This verse is quite famous. Some years ago, the late Hammarskjöld, Secretary General of the United Nations, in a lecture quoted this verse and said, if the statesmen of the world are guided by the thought contained in this verse, the world will be a better place to live in, more peaceful and more progressive. The truth is that when the mind is elevated beyond the pulse of the ego and the organic system, it gets a universality of comprehension. That's what the world needs, to take in all people. All violence, all delinquency, all crime come from concentration on this tiny ego, which one day has to be rejected. So man has the capacity to go deeper, to become more universal in his outlook. All this truth is lying hidden within him. Here is a technique by which that truth is expressed. That's why he said, Buddhau sharanam envicha. Take refuge in buddhi. Evolve buddhi out of your psychic energies within yourself. That same energy, a little processing, can produce buddhi, that most luminous instrument that man can ever have. Buddhi can be translated as enlightened reason. That's a beautiful idea. Reason which comprehends the whole of reality. That is buddhi. That's why in the Vedanta it is said, God or the Atman cannot be realized by the senses or the sense-bound mind. It can be realized only by buddhi. Buddhi graghyam atindriyam or the words used by the Gita itself in a later chapter, can be grasped by enlightened and pure reason, because it has shed all its limitations imposed by the organic system and the ego. Therefore he said, take refuge in buddhi, evolve buddhi out of the ingredients of energy, psychic energy that are within you. In fact, the whole of character development is the evolution of this buddhi. Once buddhi comes, everything becomes clear. When buddhi goes, everything goes. In the last few verses of this chapter, Krishna will tell us, buddhinashat pranashyati. When you lose buddhi, you are destroyed. Man is destroyed. All delinquency and crime is when man loses buddhi. Intact, this buddhi should be within. Make it steady, make it permanent. That is the great teaching in this section. And so in the next sloka or verse 50, Krishna continues, buddhi yukto yahatiha ubhe sukritatushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore he says, those who have buddhi, they are able to go beyond the dualities and contradictions of life. Therefore, yogaya yujyasva, rise to the level of yoga. And what is yoga? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is dexterity, efficiency in action. The second definition comes here. Yoga is dexterity, efficiency in action. That double efficiency by which man becomes a productive unit of society outside, man becomes efficient spiritually within himself. He grows spiritually, becomes expansive and universal in the context of that work by which he enriches society outside as well. This double efficiency is yoga, says Krishna in the Gita. Similarly, karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janmabandha vinarmuktaha padam gachanti anamayam. The wise, possessed of this evenness of mind, abandoning the fruits of their actions, freed forever from the fetters of birth, go to that state which is beyond all evil. They become pure, they become perfect. This is possible in this very life. This book will say, yedate mohakalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. When thy intellect crosses beyond the taint of delusion, then shalt thou attain to that indifference regarding things heard and things yet to be heard. This confusion of ideas, confusion of things that you hear from various sources, that will never come because your mind has become steady. This is further expressed in the next verse. Shruti vipratipannate yadasthasyati nischala samadha vachala buddhi tada yogamavapsasi. When thy intellect, tossed about by the conflict of opinions, has become immovable and firmly established in the self, then shalt thou attain real yoga. That is real yoga, that perfect steadiness of mind, steadiness of buddhi. It has become established like a house built on rock. In the famous example given by Jesus, the wise man built his house on rock, and the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not. It was built on rock. The foolish man built his house on sand, and the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. Here is a choice before every human being. Build your life on the rock bottom of the infinite Atman, which is your true nature, not on the shifting sands of your own sensory appetites, organic cravings. That will certainly come to ruin, as civilizations come to ruin. Too much concern with organic pleasures and satisfactions. We have seen it in the Roman civilization. We see it even today's Western civilization. We have seen it in many civilizations that appeared in India in earlier times, so that it is a great teaching that men and women must go deeper, realize the truth that is hidden within them, establish a relationship of love and concern and service in the world outside, thus fulfill the destiny of man. It is this great philosophy Krishna is trying to expound to all of us here. Efficiency is the word used. Efficiency everybody wants, but various types of efficiency are there. We have seen ordinary motor cars making so much of noise, proceeding, shaking everything, but the speed is hardly 20-25 miles. Today's motor cars doesn't make any noise. It goes so calm and steady because it has high horsepower. Similarly, in human character, when there is spiritual